Hello, Big Team. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and it is Friday, October the 1st, and I am determined to get this reading wrap-up done for the month of September because I have several books that need to go back to the library, one of which has been overdue for a few days now, so I don't want to prolong that any longer than I need to. And I always like to keep them so that I have a physical copy to hold up and show you, since I still don't know how to put in pictures, at least not with the setup that I'm doing right now. So anyway, I finished 18 books, which is not as many as various other months in the past, I know, and I am not quite on track now for a book a day for the year. I've fallen behind maybe 4 or 5 books, but I had a lot going on this month. You guys know I flew to Texas and then drove up to Southeast Oklahoma with my daughters for a funeral. And all things considered, it was a really good trip, and I was really happy to see a lot of family members and everything. In case you missed any of those videos, it was my brother's wife that passed away. And so, we're back now, safe. My girls got to fly for the first time, which was kind of cool. And we're just happy to be home safe. And then this whole month, I set a goal to list on eBay five listings a day, 5 days a week. And I'm actually going to increase that a little bit in October. I want to do 5 days a week, 5 listings a day, every day. And in order not to have to listings on Saturday and Sunday, I have to get 2 extra listings done during the week that are ready to go at the end of the week, so that I could just click a button and those, so that it will be consistent 5 listings a day. I've made a few sales, not, anything to, write home about, as they say, but still I'm learning. Every day I am learning something new, and it is helping me to get through a lot of the stuff in our house that needs to be moved out. And I know a lot of people would say just donate it. Well, this is something that my husband is excited about me doing. He was tired of doing it, but he's excited that I'm doing it. And, we could use a little bit of money to renovate the kitchen. And so this is the route that we're going. So I'm happy about it, but it's a life adjustment to just have these extra things to do every day. But Emily is doing so much better now, and I have been dieting. I got a little derailed at the second half of the month with all the travel and everything, but I'm getting back on track with that. I would like to say I'm back on track today. I even went grocery shopping last night, and I failed to really just write down the specific groceries that I needed to follow the diet that I wanted to follow this week. So I'm going to get back on track. But anyway, if you're wondering how it's going with eBay, I will have an update for that. I had said last month, or, at the beginning of September, I would do probably an update every day or every week. And I've only done one so far, and that was about mid-month. So I'll do another one to wrap up how my goals went for October, for September, if you're interested. And then maybe going forward, I can get in a better habit of doing those weekly. So anyway, I did catch up with book hauls, and so if you've watched any of those, thank you so much for that. And before I ramble any further, let's just get into what I read for the month of September. So I finished a total of 18 books. I didn't even count up how many were on audio, but most all of them were on audio except 1, 2, 3. So 3 books were in print. 2 of those books were children's picture books. I read those for World Gorilla Day late. I didn't get to read them on Gorilla Day, but we were traveling then. And then the other was a devotional book. So let me just show you that quickly. Are those. So the 2 children's books I read have to do with Ivan. I had said I would reread The One and Only Ivan and then possibly go ahead and read The One and Only Bob. I did not get either of those done because we were traveling. I think World Gorilla Day was the 25th, maybe have been the 24th. either way, we were traveling both of those days. But when I got back, I did read Ivan, the Remarkable Story of the Shopping Mall Gorilla by Katherine Applegate and G. Brian Careless. And this is a more true account of the story of Ivan, who is the subject of The One and Only Ivan. And then this is put out by Disney. It's The One and Only Ivan, Draw Me a Story. It's by Beth, Ferry, and the drawings are by Gonzalo Kenny. And this is just a sweet little book about how Ivan drew stories for his little elephant friend. I think, was her name Stella? Or Stella was the older one. It's been a while since I actually read The One and Only Ivan. But anyway, Ivan communicated, Ruby, that's her name. Ivan communicated through pictures, and that's what this is about. And it was very sweet. So Donna, my friend, her channel is Studio in the Library. She comments to all my videos. Thank you, Donna, for that. She is the one that alerted me to World Gorilla Day. And so she had several nonfiction books she was going to read, and I'm not sure if she got those read or not. But then I mentioned that I would read The One and Only Ivan, and I didn't get it done, but she did. And Anne read One and Only Bob and messaged me that now those two books are in her top ever middle grade books. And so that's wonderful to hear. I always am a little bit afraid when I make a recommendation to someone and they, I'm afraid that they're not going to like it. But The One and Only Ivan, I can confidently tell you it's a great book. It's a Newbery winner, and it is just really, really a wonderful book. So I hope to get around maybe next year for World Gorilla Day. If it's an annual thing, I'm sure it is. Well, I'm not sure it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know if this was a one-time thing or not. But if it does happen next year and I don't get it reread before then, I will plan on reading it next year, as well as The One and Only Bob, which is the sequel. So now, the only other book I read in print was this delightful little devotional book. It is called The Quilt of Life by Mary Tatem. Now, my sister's birthday and my brother's birthday were both in August, and I have a box of books ready to go to send to my sister. It's not taped up yet, but the books are in the box. I have another gift from my brother that I just never got mailed, and then his wife was ill, and it just wasn't the right time to send birthday gifts, and I couldn't fit them in my suitcase. So they're still here. Everything is needs to be mailed. Meanwhile, I was reading this, really thinking that I would send this to Charla maybe at Christmas. But the more I got into it, the more I was enjoying it. And the closer I got to the end of September, because I just read it all in 1 month, I thought, I am going to hold on to the box. I have got to send this to her. This was really good. It has about 90 little stories or vignettes, all with some sort of a quilting theme. Some are contemporary and some are historical. They all have a little square here with a quilting tip, and then each one ends with something called God's pattern, and it just sort of relates a message about God and relates it back to the story and to quilting somehow. There is a scripture at the beginning of each one, and they're usually 2 to 4 pages. Most of them, I think, are about 3 pages each. So I read 3 a day, basically. I got a little bit of a late start, so I read 4 a day for about a week, and then picked back up and read 3 a day for most every day of the month. And it was such a wonderful book. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to send this to my sister. She's probably watching this, and Charlotte, don't wait. Don't put this on your shelf and forget about it. You should read this. It's very, very good. And then this was the book that I had meant to read. Well, it was one of the books I said I was going to read in August for to celebrate my siblings' birthdays. So my brother had sent me this, and actually my sister had sent me either this one or another one by Mitch Albom. I'm not even sure now which one, but anyway, my brother sent me 4 of these books a couple years ago, and I had only read one of them. And Tuesdays with Morrie is the first Mitch Albom book that I ever remember even learning about, and I had always wanted to read it. Now, after having read it, it was okay. It was a good analysis of death and dying, and from a person's perspective who is dying. The sad thing is that since I'm from a Christian faith, I am a Christian, and Morrie was not he did not profess to be a Christian, and I don't think either does Mitch Albom. I didn't get any peace from that because if I believe what I believe, then, I'm not going to be at peace with someone dying without Jesus. And so that made it a lot depressing for me. But still, it was a very insightful look at what it's like to face death, and I'm glad that I read it. I will read the other Mitch Albom books that I own, but much like the Five People You Meet in Heaven, I didn't get a lot of inspiration from it, just some insight, and so I read it. Now, those of you who are watching me who are not Christians, you're going to be, yelling at me, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree and not have the same beliefs and everything, but if I truly believe that Jesus is the way to eternity, then I can't waffle on that. That I believe what I believe, and so therefore that's what I believe. Am I saying? Doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, so, and if you want to have a discussion about that with me privately, email me, LizzieFaye1982@gmail.com. I'll be happy to discuss that. So then I had one women's fiction book. This was for my Serious About Series challenge. And I don't know if I'm going to get completely caught up with this or not. I kind of waffled back and forth and said I was, and then I found out that a new one just came out, so I said I wasn't. But now, one of the books that I was definitely going to read that was supposed to come out in December has been bumped to January. So in order to meet my goal of 21 series finished, I'm either going to have to finish this one or I'm going to have to pick one that's not even on the list. And that's a possibility as well. So I don't know. But anyway, I did finish this. This is book 5 in the Beach House series by Mary Alice Monroe. I would say I enjoyed this one more than the last 2 or 3. Definitely more than book 3, which was a prequel. Yeah, it was book 3. I didn't care for it at all. This was pretty good. And then mysteries. I had 3 contemporary and 2 historical. The historical, I don't know if they'd be considered cozy or not. They kind of are. They're funny. But the 3 contemporary were the most recent 3 books in the Cat and the Stacks mysteries. So I'm not even sure if I have the right order. I think Careless Whiskers is book 11. Or is it 12? I don't know if these are 12, 13, 14, or 11, 12, and 13. Terrible. Then the next one after that, I'm not even going to say the numbers, Cat Me If You Can. And then the most recent one that just came out, and I know that because it has a new sticker on it from the library, What the Cat Dragged In. I checked this out on Katie's account, and it has been overdue for like 4 or 5 days now. I got to get this back in because it won't renew because everybody's waiting on it. So forgive me for keeping a new book too long, but I wanted to have them to show you. So this series is about what's his name? He's a librarian. There really wasn't much about him being a librarian in any of these 3 books. There was more about his work life in some of the earlier books. He is in a relationship now. I'm trying to think of his name. Diesel is the cat, and I can't even think. It's a very it's good. He owns his grandmother's or his aunt's home and rents out a couple of rooms to boarders. He used to, because his relative that he inherited the house from had always rented out rooms to college students, he continued that after he inherited the house. Now he really just rents out a room to a professor from the college who now is in a relationship or marriage with a policeman, and so they live there, and those are his boarders. So I think that's the only ones. And then he has a housekeeper who comes in and out, and then his cats. Well, and then he got a new kitten in the book just previous to this one, so he has 2 cats. And in one of these books, I think the last one, he inherited another home from his grandfather, I believe. And there was a dispute because there had been a life estate with someone, or some kind of an agreement with his grandfather and someone who was renting either property or the home or something, and that person was basically trying to say, no, this is supposed to go to me, and that's not what the law was saying. So when they're going through the house, they find a skeleton, and that's the mystery of that. This one is theater related. His daughter is a theater teacher, so in this story, they are doing a play, and the special guest actor is killed during the play. He's poisoned. He drinks something, and then he's poisoned. So I feel like I've read other stories with that storyline, and then I can't even remember what this one was about. That's the peril of, listening to 3 stories in a row from the same series. They all kind of run together. But anyway, I'm caught up now with this series for Series About Series, and that is a challenge that I proposed at the beginning of the year. Quite a few people from the Killing Time with Cozies group are doing it. They call it SAS, and that's awesome. So then I only got to 2 of the Amelia Peabody series. Now, would y'all consider these cozy mysteries? They're funny. They're humorous. I think they're cozy, but I think they were all written before cozy mysteries was really a thing. So they're sort of grandfathered in, but they are historical mysteries. So I read these for Mid-Year Mystery Madness, which was a mid-year March Mystery Madness, and we called it Subgenre September. So historical mysteries are a subgenre of mysteries that I rarely read. So I listened to both of these, and then I just couldn't get back into listening to any more of them. I have 2 more checked out from the library. I ended up letting, I had one checked out on audio from Hoopla that I ended up letting it expire, and I have checked it out again now, just at the end of the month. So I am going to get to that. I need to listen to several of these if I'm going to catch up and get to book 14 by November. So anyway, I read The Deeds of the Disturber. I listened to both of these on audio, and then The Last Camel Died at Noon. And I said in one of the live streams for Mid-Year Mystery Madness, I think it was the one we did on Emily Sears' channel, that I don't care as much about the mysteries in these as I do the characters. And I've always said I'm character driven. Anyway, the characters are just fun. I love to see what Ramses, their son, is going to get into next, and the banter between the husband and wife and everything I just get a kick out of. So I'm not even going to worry about the mysteries. For the rest of them, I'm just going to enjoy how their stories progress and just enjoy that. And then I had a buddy read at the beginning of the month. I buddy read The Wicked City by Beatriz Williams with Becca from Hicks Picks Books. Both of us, I think, rated this probably about 3 stars. It had 2 different storylines, 2 different time frames. One was set in 1924. I believe it was 24. It was definitely 1920s Prohibition. That story was a lot more interesting and compelling than the 1998 story. I could have done without the 1998 story at all. It could have been left out, and it would have been, the 24 story could have just carried the book. There was a kind of a supernatural element that was just weird. That storyline was introduced in the 1998 section, but you didn't really know, it wasn't explained very well. And so then you think, okay, well, it's going to be kind of mysterious. I thought I interpreted it one way, and then that wasn't right. And then all of a sudden the book was over, and it didn't really explain anything. So I was like, wait, what? What was that? So I have the second one, and I am going to listen to it hopefully this month or next. One of the prompts on the Fall Into Reading Challenge is sequel, so I'll go ahead and use that. The sequel to this is called The Wicked Redhead, and I will listen to that. Maybe it'll shed some light on that supernatural aspect. Maybe it won't. I don't know, but we shall see. All right, I read 3 middle grade books. One of them I finally finished. I started picking this up in June. I did restart it in mid-August when I did my stack of 8 books that I was trying to read all at once. And I got several chapters in at that point. And finally I said, okay, I am picking this book up and I'm going to get this done. And literally last night, it was after midnight, so it was technically today, but I'm still counting it for yesterday. I read the last 20 pages, got it done. It had an interesting ending. the book overall I didn't love. It didn't have the same sparkle. It didn't have the same magic as the original Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. And really, the second book didn't either. The second book I liked more than this one. This was okay. It wasn't horrible. I didn't hate it. And it wasn't a super satisfying ending. But then, in retrospect, it really couldn't have ended any other way. So, it was fine. I'm glad that I read it. And, yeah, so, you know, I got it done. Yay. The other two are Newbery related. They're both Newbery Honor books. Gone Away Lake by Elizabeth Enright is a Newbery Honor book from the 50s. I think I mentioned this in my Newbery Winners of the 1950s. I don't think I had read it at that point, or if I had, I think, well, maybe I did mention it then. It was a nice story about a couple of kids who went to visit relatives, or they moved or something, and I think they go to stay with cousins. Yeah, they go to visit their cousins, and it's just their story of exploring the wilderness around where their cousins live. It was very idyllic, very nice, and very enjoyable. And there may be more in this series, but I'm not absolutely sure. And then this one I had read before. I listened to this and this on Overdrive. This is Misty of Chincoteague. This is also part of a series. It's by Marguerite Henry. This is a Newbery Honor book from the 1940s. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is about the wild horses and a little bit of the history of how, well, that whole thing. I'm trying to remember what state this takes place in. I don't know. They're on an island, and every year, I guess, the people from the mainland or from the nearby island go over and round up some of the horses and swim them across, and it helps to keep the herd thinned out, and you know, and then either they sell the horses or they have an auction to benefit the city, the town. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a very enjoyable book, and I did like it. I'm trying to see what state it's set in, because I think it is based on true events. At least these characters probably are made up, but I think that this activity is a historical activity that actually did happen. I don't know that it still does, but it did. I can't see. Anyway, it's a book about horses and kids and their love of horses and wild horses and all that. Then at the very beginning of the month, I did listen to this whole Seasons of the Heart series by Janette Oke, and I mainly did it so that I could count a book set in the fall for the Fall into Reading Challenge, and that's book 2, so I figured I may as well just reread all of them. Once Upon a Summer is book 1. The Winds of Autumn is book 2. This is basically a coming-of-age series about a boy, Joshua, and his life from maybe age 14 to maybe age 24. It's probably a 10 or more year span of his life. Winter is Not Forever is book 3. And Spring's Gentle Promise is book 4. It started coming back to me as because I had read this whole series once or twice before, and just really, really enjoyed them. And as I would continue, I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I remember, and just still very, very enjoyable. This is a Christian fiction series set in the 1800s. Don't know what decade of the 1800s, but very enjoyable. And I'm assuming they're set in Canada, because Janette Oke is a Canadian author. So I enjoyed those a lot. And that was also for an author binge project. I did not get any books read by T. Davis Bunn. I was going to binge him and Janette Oke, and I only ended up getting the Janette Oke books done. There were several of my reading goals that I did not accomplish for the month, but it's okay. I did catch up with 2 of the Serious About Series challenges, or, you know, the series on my list, and I did a buddy read, Oh, and I was going to see on the Fall Into Reading Challenge, I believe I finished 8 of the prompts. Let me see if I did. I'm just looking to make sure that I check them all off. Oh, no, I did. I did finish 8. I only checked off 7, but because that reminded me it takes place in the fall, I did not check off. So here's my chicken scratch chart. I've only got 7 checked off, but I did get 8 done. So I'm on track to finish those. I had thought maybe I would get more than that done for the month of September, because in November I really kind of know what I'm going to read. Some nonfiction and some science fiction for the Bookish Bryant's sci-fi readathon. And I'd kind of like to be caught up with everything except those. So I don't know. We'll see how much I get in October, how much I get read. But really and truthfully, I don't want to say I got into a reading slump, but with audiobooks, I did not have my ear in an audiobook every time I turned around, because I was listening and watching to YouTube videos about from resellers who resell on eBay and online and everything, and that was just what I was in the mood to do, and they were very inspiring. So I will when I do another update about what it's like to sell on eBay, I will list off at that point. I'll tell you some of the other channels that I have found that I have really enjoyed watching and listening to, and who I've learned the most from. I'll do that in another video. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear about what you read in the month of September. This year is just flying by, and I'm excited though that I accomplished some goals. I didn't get really any Newbery winners read except for the 2 honor books that I mentioned. But it's okay. I'm happy that I'm just ready to jump into October. And I did make myself listen to an audiobook, at least a couple of hours of an audiobook this morning before I went back to a reseller video. So I'm gonna maybe it's good. Maybe it's good for me to find a bit of a balance. And maybe if I say, okay, I'm gonna listen to 2 hours of an audiobook, and then after that, I can just listen to some videos, watch some videos. And I haven't totally neglected BookTube either. I have watched several BookTube videos, but my attention has been divided. So if I haven't watched your videos, please forgive me. I will do my best to at least watch 1 or 2 here and there. But for right now, I need to get this uploaded and get these books back to the library and stop rambling. So I'll talk to you soon. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.